There have been countless defamation trials over the course of human existence, but to witness a trial so heavily publicized and contentious is a rare instance. Days have gone by since the verdict of Johnny's defamation trial against ex-wife Amber Heard, but somehow their case is still relevant and making headlines every day or two. Amber charged with a hefty damage bill. The ex-couple had first presented themselves in the court when Amber decided to file against Johnny for alleged domestic violence, and to this day, she's seeking one way or the other to get her side of the story out to the public. Now, even though the court ruled partially in favor of Heard in the defamation lawsuit, the verdict clearly favored Johnny more than Amber. Of course, when Amber first decided to tell her truth back in 2016, little did she know that the ultimate outcome of all this would hold her responsible for paying Johnny $10.35 million in damage. So, after getting an immense amount of hatred from all over the world, breaking all her ties with Johnny, and, not to mention, having to pay a hefty damage bill, Heard has nowhere to turn to. Has Amber Heard hit rock bottom, or is there more to the story? Guess we'll find out soon. Heard hits rock bottom. Now, to say that the trial has surely changed the lives of the ex-couple would be far from an understatement. At least for now, the course of events have transformed Depp's life for the better, and as mentioned earlier, Heard might have possibly hit rock bottom. If we talk about the events post-trial, it's evident that the actress hasn't been doing well in life and in career, as she recently commented, accepting that her career in Hollywood is probably over. And from what we've gathered, her claims might not be far from true. Johnny's lawyers did not agree to waive off the damage bill, so Heard decided to appeal the verdict, claiming that she won't be able to pay in settlement. Amber to write a tell-all book. However, recent stories suggest that Amber might finally be able to pay the bill after all. With yet another statement, Amber Heard has created buzz all around the world, claiming that she is set to write a tell-all book on Johnny Depp. For those of you who might be unfamiliar with the term tell-all book, it's basically a biography in which an individual often exposes controversial or scandalous information about someone or something. So you probably know where we're going with this one. Heard is trying to pen down her reality out onto a page, yet again, hoping that things might finally start going uphill from here. Amber also mentioned that she only decided to take such a harsh step because she now has nothing to lose. From what we can gauge, Amber has not taken Johnny's defamation trial win to be his ultimate win. Heard is all set to get her life and her career back. Reasons for a tell-all book. Now let's go back to why we believe Amber feels that a tell-all book is due after all. When her lawyers claim she's broke, they meant it. The actress, when married to Depp, was all about blings and extravagance and what she wore. But to our surprise, Heard was recently spotted by the paparazzi at a discount store. Amber, along with her sister Whitney, was found shopping at TJ Maxx. We understand that discount shopping is not a bizarre concept for us, but for the Hollywood A-listers, it isn't very usual. If Amber has lowered her clothing expenses by this much, she probably is in dire need for some added finances, and the tell-all book might just be her knight in shining armor. Shopping at TJ Maxx wasn't our only cue to discover that Amber might be in financial ruins as of now. Multiple sources close to Heard have claimed that she did not even have enough cash in the bank to even pay her attorney fee. Instead, she was mostly, if not fully, relying on her homeowner's insurance policy to cover the cost of the attorneys. Even if we simply do the math, considering her net worth and the amount she has to pay Johnny back, we can easily conclude that she is, in fact, bankrupt. Amber's current net worth right now is around $1.5 to $2.5 million, almost one-fifth of what she currently owes to her former husband. To top off all of her financial crises, there are no gigs left for Amber in Hollywood. After facing public humiliation in the courtroom and getting global outrage, Heard doubts that she'll even be featured in the Aquaman sequels. Apparently, her role in the upcoming Aquaman movie has been significantly reduced, and directors might replace her with another actor soon. Keeping all of her financial distresses in mind, it only seems fair if she thinks opting for the tell-all book at this point might save her. Heard signs a multi-million-dollar deal. Now that Heard is ready to execute her mission, tell-all book, she claims that she's extremely excited to have this finally happen. After all, this book is her only ray of sunshine in the midst of the dark clouds of settlement bills surrounding her. She's got a nothing-to-lose approach for whatever's about to hit her following the publication. Such an approach has made her seem braver and stronger than ever before, so it feels like she might be onto something. But a question arises, will a tell-all book solve everything for Amber? A book full of such intense and possibly life-changing information can potentially solve a lot for Amber, considering the financial perks involved. The book would be written by her as a part of a multi-million-dollar deal. If she moves forward with the deal, which considering her financial situation she has to, the deal might help her pay her dues worth $10.35 million. Even though Heard was awarded with $2 million as settlement, she still has to pay back a whopping $8.35 million to Depp. According to Adam Waldman, Amber's former attorney, Amber simply can't pay an amount so high, and so a tell-all book might be an easy way to get some cash in the bank. If, for instance, Johnny decides that he doesn't want to demand the sum of money owed, Amber wouldn't have to go through the process of writing the book. We're all dying to hear what's left to say from her side, though. Who knows, a few revelations might turn out to be a game changer, only if Amber somehow gains the trust of people by her words. What's the book going to be based on? As per our assumptions, Amber might have a few major topics up her sleeve, some related to trial injustice and some to her failed marriage. According to a few sources, Amber mentioned that she's deeply upset at how the social media reacted to the trial, trolling her, ridiculing her, and showing no support at all to her during the trials. Her representation all over social media was immensely hurtful for her, and she claimed that even if she was lying or fabricating her story, nobody can look her in the eye and tell her that she deserved being treated that way. Considering how affected her it is by the social media betrayal, she's probably going to be addressing that in the book. Continuing with that, Amber also mentioned how the trial reflected a prominent instance of perfect victim fallacy. She's definitely going to shed more light in her book on this one, but here's a few things that Heard shared regarding the fallacy in an interview. The idea that a victim has to conform to societal standards to be believed upon is inhumane. Some victims are not likable or perfect, but that doesn't mean you discredit their stories or conducts that aren't even relevant to the abuse. Amber mentioned that this is what she suffered through when the judge, the jury, the people all over the world refused to believe her truth. And of course, the book would be incomplete without the nitty-gritties on Johnny and Amber's short-lived relationship. Although Amber has claimed post-defamation trials that her love for Johnny hasn't lessened over time, there's still a need to reveal her truth. Most of her truth revolves around Johnny's alcohol addiction, his domestic violence towards Amber, and other marital problems faced by the couple during the course of their relationship. So our guess is, if not the entire tell-all book, a major chunk will be devoted towards these key issues. Can Heard get into trouble for the tell-all book? If Amber spills the tea a little too much, she'll have to clean it up by possibly facing another defamation allegation. She needs to be extremely careful when writing that book. Anything can and probably will be used against her by Depp's team. She's learned her lesson once, been brought to the court for defaming her ex-husband, and consequently losing the case. One false claim that hampers Depp's reputation will mean that the actress may be getting dragged to the court once again for defaming Johnny. She wouldn't want that, would she? By once again, we mean that it was Amber's indirect allegations at Johnny which landed her in court in the first place. In 2018, Amber wrote a Washington Post op-ed claiming that she has been physically and sexually harassed in her life. Even though Heard didn't take her former husband Depp's name, the op-ed became the center of Johnny's defamation trial against her. Especially since after the trial, Johnny's lawyers have their radars up and working. As soon as Heard publishes the book, Depp's team will be reading and listening to everything, so safe to say that unless Heard plays this one absolutely sharply and doesn't offend Depp, there's a high chance for her to stumble and find herself back in the court again. Funnily enough, as much as others are concerned about Amber getting into trouble following the publication of the tell-all book, she seems fearless. Since 2016, Amber has been fighting her own battles, and she's ready to do it once again, and this time with nothing to lose. Ever since the trial ended, Heard has been making public appearances and giving interviews, never for once hesitating on bringing up the topic of her abuse. Heard has also claimed time and time again that the verdict has done nothing but discourage the victims of domestic violence to come forward and speak up about it. She mentioned that the trial silenced her and took away her right to free speech. For her, every step she takes on every word she says is like walking on eggshells. It can be used against her in the very next second. And so her tell-all book is a way to communicate her story again, in a well-thought-out and a careful manner, without having to worry about being interrupted or objected upon by Depp's team. Likely outcomes of the book publication. Now, if Amber goes forward with publishing the book, what two outcomes can she most likely expect? Interestingly, the consequences can go both ways. In a bad case scenario, Depp's team skims through the book, finds another evidence for potential defamation, and history repeats itself. However, we can assume that the third party which signed the deal with Amber has its own lawyers and standard content audit procedures. So if there's a piece of information that could possibly get Amber into deep waters, they'll probably filter it out, presenting the book as less scandalous or revealing. And who knows, Johnny might still waive off the damages that have forced Amber to write this multi-million-dollar book in the first place. After all, he did say that all he wanted to achieve from this lawsuit was to get back his life and amend his damaged reputation. Now that he's already achieved that, he might just let Amber go with this one. That's it for today, folks. We'll talk with you next time.